There's something out there orbiting Earth. It doesn't belong to NASA. It wasn't launched by SpaceX China or the Soviets. And it wasn't built by us, at least not recently. This object was detected before humanity had even mastered flight, before Sputnik, before satellites. And yet, it's up there, circling the planet with silent intent.
Some call it a fragment of space junk. Others say it's an ancient alien probe, watching us, studying us. A sentinel drifting in the void.
It's been captured in photographs, tracked by radar. But the strangest part? No one, not even the most advanced space agencies, can say with certainty what it is. This is not just a tale about technology. It's about the uneasy feeling that something has been keeping an eye on us for millennia. Not just observing, but waiting. In this video, we pull on the threads of one of space's most enigmatic legends. From Tesla's curious experiments to NASA's cryptic images. This is the mystery of the Black Knight satellite. Part 1. Tesla's signal. The story begins in a lab. Colorado Springs, 1899. Nikola Tesla, the visionary genius behind alternating current and wireless power, was conducting experiments with radio waves. He wasn't tinkering. He was building towers that scraped the sky with lightning, chasing energy through the air itself. But during one of these tests, Tesla heard something unexpected. A signal, repeating, patterned, too deliberate to be random static. Tesla didn't think malfunction, he thought communication. Not from Earth, but from the stars. He believed he had intercepted a message, one sent not by humans, but by intelligent life far beyond our atmosphere. Skeptics chalked it up to interference. Tesla's equipment was powerful, but unpredictable. Yet the signal lingered in his memory for decades. It was unlike anything he had ever received. And it raised a haunting possibility. If someone or something was already transmitting to Earth in 1899, were they also watching? Tesla's discovery was dismissed at the time. But over the years, other similar reports emerged that would eventually create a chilling trail into space. Part 2. Echoes from the Void. The 1920s brought wireless communication into the hands of amateur radio operators, ordinary people scattered across the globe. And some of them started hearing things they couldn't explain. Long-delayed echoes. A signal would go out, and instead of bouncing back instantly, it would return seconds later. That's not how radio works. Not under normal Earth conditions anyway. Jürgen Hals, a physicist in Norway, was one of the first to document it. He transmitted signals into the sky, and something sent them back. Not noise or distortion. These were his own messages, mirrored back with a long delay that made absolutely no scientific sense. No satellites, no orbiting relays, nothing up there according to the world's space agencies. Because no country had launched anything yet, this was still only 1927 after all. So what was reflecting those signals? Theories began to take shape. Maybe there was something in orbit, something listening, echoing back. Not speaking, but acknowledging. These echoes, strange and unsettling, were the second breadcrumb in a mystery that was only beginning to form. A hint of intelligence, or perhaps surveillance. Part 3. The Unseen Satellite. May 1954. The Cold War simmers. Tensions rise. And then, an article hits the San Francisco Examiner. A U.S. Air Force official claims that 2 unknown satellites are orbiting Earth. The problem? This was 3 years before Sputnik, the first human-made satellite. Back then, no one had launched anything into orbit. So what were they detecting? The source was Donald Keyhoe, a former Marine pilot turned UFO researcher. To his followers, he was a whistleblower. To skeptics, a sensationalist. But he was adamant. These objects weren't American, weren't Soviet. Military radar, not backyard telescopes, had picked them up. Real hardware, tracking real anomalies. The government shrugged it off. Radar glitch, misreadings. But some people weren't buying that. These weren't faint signals or amateur sightings. This was military-grade detection, seeing something that wasn't supposed to be there. The idea that something was already in orbit, long before humans got there, was terrifying, because it raised the question no one wanted to ask. Who put it there? Part 4. Polar Orbit and the Name. By the late 1950s, observatories around the world began noticing an object in orbit. It didn't move like the satellites we'd begun launching. It wasn't behaving like debris, and it certainly didn't match any known mission. Then came the detail that sent a shiver down the spine of every analyst. The object was in polar orbit. Most satellites travel around the equator, but this one moved from pole to pole, north to south. That path is used for surveillance. And back then, no country had the technology to launch into polar orbit. Theories spiraled. Was it a Soviet spycraft? An unregistered US experiment? Or something else entirely? As stories and sightings piled up, a name began to take hold. The Black Knight satellite. Mysterious, regal, ominous. The Black Knight was born from scattered fragments in time. Tesla's signals, the echo anomalies, the radar blips, all stitched into a single, eerie tapestry. Part 5. The STS-88 photograph. 1998. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is on mission STS-88, delivering the first US module to the newly forming International Space Station, routine by NASA standards, until the photos came back. Among dozens of images taken during a spacewalk, one stood out. Floating just above the curvature of Earth was something angular, black, complex. It looked sculpted, like a machine. The object appeared to have symmetry, structure, shadows that suggested mass, not debris. The internet took one look and decided, this is the Black Knight. NASA official statement? A thermal blanket, insulation that had drifted away during the mission. But comparisons between known blanket photos and this object showed stark differences. To believers, this was the smoking gun, proof that something unnatural was up there. To skeptics, it was a misunderstanding. But to everyone else, it was haunting. The Black Knight was no longer just a rumor. It had a face. Part 6. Theories and star maps. What exactly is the Black Knight? For some, it's a Cold War ghost, an unclaimed satellite launched in secret. Maybe Soviet, maybe American. A relic from the era of espionage. But others believe something more unsettling. Duncan Lunan, an astronomer in the 1970s, revisited the radio echoes from the 1920s. He plotted them, and according to Lunan, the delay patterns aligned with a star map, pointing directly to the Epsilon Bootis star system. His conclusion? The echoes were messages, a greeting from an ancient alien probe, broadcasting across time. We are observing you, the decoded message allegedly said. We are from Epsilon Bootis. Years later, Lunan walked back the claim, calling it more of a speculative exercise than a scientific discovery. But the story stuck. It gave the Black Knight a voice. Part 7. The Black Knight remains. A strange signal received by Tesla in 1899. Echoes bouncing back from the void in the 1920s. Radar detections in the 50s. An eerie object in polar orbit. A photo from 98 that can't be explained. Each piece on its own could be dismissed. Together they form a shape. Not a fact. Not proof. But a definite presence. No government has claimed the Black Knight. No nation admits to launching it. And no one can say why, for over a century, it continues to spark the same uneasy question. What is it doing up there? Maybe it's just space debris with good timing and a creepy silhouette. Or maybe it's more, A watcher, a probe, something placed in orbit long before we had the tools to notice. We look deep into the stars, but sometimes the most unsettling mysteries are the ones closest to home, orbiting us, quiet and unanswered. Did we discover the Black Night, or did it allow itself to be seen? Whatever the truth may be, it's still out there, and maybe it always has been. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, subscribe to the Hushed Unease, because some mysteries deserve to be unraveled.